Achoo! 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 Oh.
You're listening to Sneeze with James Whittingham.
All right, welcome to this special edition of Sneeze. I'm James Whittingham. And it's been, how many months of a pandemic have we been living with, people? How many months has it been? I've lost track. It's somewhere between 6 and 9, which is how I left off my last sexual position when I was 24. It's the last time I could manage somewhere between 6 and 9 without getting a cramp. God, cramps are awful. You have to hydrate. I'm getting a lot of cramps just by doing the simplest things. I reached for something the other day and got a cramp because I'm not hydrating. You have to hydrate as you get old. I'm in my 50s now, and my God, everything's not working. Let me give you a list of things that are not working, as if the pandemic wasn't bad enough. I was sitting on the floor of the bathroom 3 years ago, this very month, in the downstairs bathroom. It's a powder room. It's small. Only fits one fat guy, and that's about it. In any weird position. So I was down on the floor fixing some tile. And I had to get up, and it was awkward, and I pushed to get up. I blew out my rotator cuff, just pushing my own self to get up. That's how it is. And it took 9 months for that sucker to heal. Then, a year and a half ago, in July, I took my son to see a soccer game in Colorado, which is about, I don't know, let's call it 14 hours south of here. I drove down there in my Prius with him and my family, and the Prius is not ergonomic. You know, I read reviews of the car, and they said it's not ergonomic for your resting your elbow. Didn't think a thing of it. I'll buy the car anyway. Well, it turns out I can't feel my left finger now. Since then, and forever, my left finger, I can't feel it because of that stupid trip in that car. And then my wife hit a deer. Yeah. She hit a deer. Well, it's the first thing we killed. Now I think she has a taste for it. I hate to say it, but I think she has a taste for it now. And I could be next. Anyway, this damn pandemic, which has lasted somewhere between 6 and 9 months. I guess it's probably, let's call it, where are we? Let's say it's 9 months. Let me work with me as I count. Okay? Shit hit the fan mid-March. Okay? So I'm going to count here. Mid-April, mid-May, mid-June, mid-July, mid-August, mid-September, mid-October, mid-November. That is 8 months. It has been 8 months of hell. 8 months of a dark cloud. 8 months of me not being productive. I derailed this podcast. I kept going with my other one because I had a partner in it. Completely derailed. But before that, before my podcast derailed all those 8 months ago, a kind listener named Mark, he sent me on a tape because I was asking for sidekicks. Mark sent me a sidekick tape, and this is what he did. You don't have to do this. You can do any kind of audition you want, but he gave me several sound bites to work with. This is his tape.
Gesundheit. That is rather funny. I shall add that to the running list of Dr. Broadbeck's crimes.
It's a long list.
Well, that's nothing that a good session on a bidet wouldn't solve.
Mm-hmm.
Clean as a whistle, they say.
Aha! Aha! There's a man, there's a sidekick potential candidate who's picked up on my use of the bidet. And let me tell you this, if I haven't told you before, and I think I have, but I'm going to tell you again anyway. The bidet is a lifesaver in the apocalypse. Because when you can't get toilet paper, when people are hoarding toilet paper, well, you just shoot your ass with the bidet. And I've said that before. It's great. And I'm never, now, you're sick of me talking about it. I'm never going back. Never going back. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for sending in that. Very perceptive of all of your comments, which I can use on the show if I need. I am looking for a sidekick, and like I said, who gets me, but who's not incredibly interesting. I can't be interesting. I can't be eccentric like me. Maybe it could be weird. Yeah, I need somebody else here. I need somebody to help keep me going. You know, I need somebody to answer to, and it's hard to find that person. I'm not looking for an equal. I'm not looking for a co-host. I'm looking for a sidekick. It's a different area of expertise altogether. There's only so many sidekicks in the world. I mean, even Robin of Batman and Robin was kind of a partner. I mean, he wasn't really a sidekick. You know, although he looked like it in their motorcycle setup when he was there in a little box car and a sign. It really looked I never thought Robin was a kid until I was, like 50 years old. I realized he was a kid, a teenager. That's why he needed a ward. I thought it was something weird going on. I thought he was an adult that had a sort of a cognitive disability or something, that he needed a ward. Because when I was a kid, Robin seemed like an adult to me. I digress. This is what I do. I digress. Okay, listen. The pandemic has been hard, and it continues to be hard, and I'm struggling through this. I'm forcing myself to do this podcast today. Forcing myself. Forcing. It's winter again. I started in winter as winter was ending, and now it's winter again, and there's snow here on the prairies, and it's windy and disgusting and cold. And summer was bearable. I had a little swimming pool in the backyard, a little heated pool, and bought an e-bike. I decided that I was going to treat myself to an e-bike during the pandemic because I'd given up on ever being in shape again, which is something you want to do in a pandemic. You want to get in shape so you don't die. I said that in my last episode. But I bought a e-bike. I thought I could go on adventures further away than I've ever been before. And it worked out that way, kind of. I liked it. I really, as far as e-bikes go, I really endorse it. I got a good deal on it because I did it right in mid-March. I saw what was coming. Bikes flew off the shelves, e-bikes especially. My bike, I got it when it was just introduced on Amazon, and they had it at an introductory price so they get a few reviews under their belt. Then they jacked it up like $300. So I got a cheap e-bike. It was a reasonable price. A little bit of upgrades to it. Took it around, and you start to feel as out of shape as you are, and you're not letting the bike do the whole thing. You're helping it. But as out of shape as you are, you start to feel like a competent person, maybe a younger person, maybe an athletic person, because you're just zipping around. You can't always tell that they're an e-bike either. The more subtle they are, which some of them are very subtle, you can look pretty good. I mean, my neighbors see this massive blob of a fat man going by at high speeds, and they're wondering what the hell's going on. I'm getting stares galore. I was starting to feel really good until I came across another e-biker with a better e-biker, and he passed me. I was used to passing people all summer long, and then I got passed, and what was it? It was another e-bike. It wasn't an athletic guy who was training for the Olympics. It was another fat, out-of-shape bastard on an e-bike who passed me. And then I felt, okay. I wasn't pushing my bike to the limits, but I can do better than this. I'm not going to fool around anymore. If I see anybody coming at me, I'm going to speed up. I don't want to be passed. This is where I'm at. This competitiveness, this lazy biker mentality of not wanting to be passed by anybody. Anyway, I almost killed myself, went on vacation, went to a park, got a cottage for about a week from a friend, and was able to pandemic vacation in safety. And what happened? They paved the road in this provincial park, and it had a large drop-off on the pavement. They put so much asphalt down that it was like 6 inches high. I fell off the pavement, minding my own business, almost didn't wear a helmet, and the wheel, the pedal of the bike struck the pavement and threw me like a wrestler throwing a toddler headfirst into the pavement. And fortunately, I had a helmet on, or I'd probably be dead or hospitalized or even stupider than I am now. I probably lost a few points off the old IQ, but it was bad, and it could have been a lot worse. So I was very thankful. Kids, I was becoming light on bicycle helmets. I was thinking, well, if you're in New York City traffic and you're going to be hit by a cab, maybe it would help you. But if you're going to the mall, across the street, don't wear the helmet. It's not necessary. I was leaning towards being lackadaisical with helmets, but it's not something you want to do. And with e-bikes, you go even faster into whatever you're going into. So, yes, I don't think they're dangerous. I'm dangerous. But you have to wear your helmet. So the other thing I bought myself to indulge, as you may know, as you may have already heard from episodes gone by, just before the pandemic, I bought a snow shovel, an electric snow shovel. It's like a poor man's snowblower, battery operated, no cord involved, which is cool. And it blows snow like 30 feet. Like just shoots. And you can't, unlike a snowblower, you can't aim it. So you have to shoot it whichever way your shovel is pointing. Okay? And that's not always great because I've hit my neighbor's truck with blocks of ice. And he loves his truck. He really loves his truck. I mean, he loves everything he owns that has wheels on it. His lawnmower. I think he has orgasms while he's mowing his lawn. I think he is in a constant, slow, sting-like bit of ecstasy while he washes his car every 3 days in the summertime in the heat. And I hit his truck. I didn't damage his truck. I don't think I've damaged his truck. I have not damaged his truck. But you got to watch where that thing goes because it's like hitting windows of the house, of my house and everything, and it really flies. This little snow shovel that's electric, okay? And it snowed last weekend a lot, and it's been hard to shovel. The snow flies in your face when you have a snowblower, and I've had them before. It shoots it in a fine mist into the air and then gets into your face, okay? Well, I hit some dog urine. The dogs, there's this crazy woman down the street with a German Shepherd or two. She shouldn't be allowed to own a dog, although I'm sure it keeps her out of trouble. She has on her front window, her front picture window, on our street, on our main boulevard street, she has not one, but 2 large analog clocks. Now, I think she's absolutely crazy. She could be OCD to the max. I don't know. I've talked to her before. She's come up to me and talked to me. Whenever I'm doing something out in front, she'll find an excuse. Like she put on rollerblades one night at 11 when I was taking pictures of the Northern Lights and just decided, this will be an excuse to talk to this guy because she has to know everybody. She's done really weird things. Like she took a picture of my house and put it in my mailbox and said, "Congratulations, you're part of our new program of the Community Association. We've taken a picture of your house and now you can come talk to us." And she's crazy. Two analog clocks. Because one, you can't rely on. Why would you be able to rely on one giant analog clock in your front picture window when you're outside or whatever you're doing, or maybe it's for the world to tell them really what time it is? She has 2. One is presumably as a backup. So what I'm thinking is, she really annoys me. What she does is she takes my trash bin from the street and was putting it on my lawn in the summer. Just because she was pissed off that I didn't put it away with her. She lives like half a block away. She's not like my next door neighbor. And this somehow bothered her. She used to put it all the way up to my house for some reason. She didn't do that to anybody else, but she did it to us. She took our trash bin and walked on our property and moved it right up to the house right after the guy left, right after the truck left. And it was supposedly, somebody said, for security reasons. She wanted everyone to be secure and seem like they're home. Maybe she didn't think we were home, but now she was putting it on my lawn. And I don't give a fuck about my lawn. I don't give a fuck about it. What she was doing, killing weeds, I don't care. I don't take care of my lawn like my neighbors do. They're crazy here. They're like king of the hill. There's a guy 2 doors down who has a lawn the size of my living room, and he's got a lawn tractor. Okay? Not only does he have a lawn tractor for cutting, he has a lawn tractor for spreading fertilizer, which he does by hand as he drives around and scoops it out the back. It's insane. My neighborhood's insane. It's just a typical neighborhood. It's 1979 suburbia, and all the old guys who are still here from that time, cuckoo. So I was pissed off that she put it on my lawn. This is what I was thinking. I was thinking of getting an analog clock and bolting it onto my garbage can with the wrong time. Now, I don't know if it should be completely wrong or just off by about 10 minutes. What would drive her the most nuts? And what would happen if I drove her the most nuts? Because she's acting nuts already. She's, invading my privacy here by putting my, and I put it back on the street. I put the garbage can back on the street. Took it off my lawn and left it on my street to piss her off so it'd be there for a couple of more days. She put it back on my lawn again. I don't have a Ring doorbell, but I'm going to get one. I'm going to show you all video of this crazy woman and her crazy, stupid 2 clocks. 2 clocks in her front window. Man, if there was a way I could get a magnet and just make one of her clocks off, would that be enough to kill her? Would that be enough to do her in? I don't know. Anyway, the snowblower, the shovel snowblower. It's always windy here. So you always get, I mean, the good snowblowers will have like a little shelter. I've always envied this, a little shelter, because the snow comes back and hits you in the face inevitably. But I hit dog urine from her dog, from the crazy lady's dog. She always stops. She stops with her dog. When the dog doesn't want to stop, she stops. So the dog starts sniffing around and looking. Okay? She stops with the dog. And it might take a minute or two for the dog to get interested, but she stops pretending that it's because of the dogs. Because she's not nosy. Everybody has a nosy neighbor. Well, this is crazy. So I hit the dog urine. I hit it accidentally. I didn't know what else to do. And it flew. It flew right back at me. So I dropped the snow shovel and I ran. It's almost impossible to get away from that acidic shit from dogs. But here's the thing. It was accidental. But then I made it intentional. I went right at that dog urine with the snow shovel, the snowblower snow shovel, and I spread that dog urine out all over the place. As far and wide as I could spread that shit. And it wasn't shit, it was urine. Let's be specific here. Because the dog is not going to know. He's not going to know. He's going to say, I've been everywhere here. I've pissed on this whole place. Now other dogs are going to come by and they're going to think there's a giant dog that pissed everywhere. Or they're going to be sniffing everywhere. There's no place where they're not going to want to piss. They're going to run out of piss trying to mark their territory, matching where I put this urine, because I put it everywhere. Everywhere. Both my neighbors' yards have dog urine from my yard now. It's the thing. I know the dogs can smell it. I can't. But I carefully snow blew the urine to other people's lawns. And you have to be careful. I don't want that to happen again. I don't have to see this yellow mist of snow coming at me from the wind and have to run like for my life depended on it. It's gross. It's gross. Because it would get in your mouth and in your nose and your eyes and on your clothes. Yeah. So I don't know what to do about that. Dog snow cone everywhere. You know what? I've forgotten how to drive. I haven't hardly been out of the house driving. My wife goes to work. She used to work at home for a while. My son used to go to school. He's now working at home. And I go to go somewhere, and I can't go. I've forgotten how to drive. I've been driving for nearly 40 years, and I have to think, okay, red means bad. Red means bad. It's blood. It means stop. To think about these things. It's so weird to go driving, and I'm like, you can tell who the people who never go out are because they have Lysol wipes wiping their steering wheel as they drive. That's me. I've got the mask on. I'm thinking about building a chamber for my back seat for my daughter, who's turning 13. She's at school. I pick her up sometimes. But she's out there. She's contaminated. She's out there in the world where I'm not, and my son's not. What do? I get some plastic and tape it up. Make a little aero chamber there for her. So what I'm thinking about doing. My daughter, they canceled school here in March, and there was no more school for the rest of the year. Would normally go to the end of June. She went crazy. She stopped brushing her hair. She's got long hair, and she stopped brushing it, and it got away from her, and it was bad. She was this feral kid, this feral little girl walking around our house growling and sniffing and not showering, and her hair was clumps. And we spent hundreds of dollars on expensive products over the course of at least 2 months trying to unmat her hair because she didn't want it cut off. We could have just shaved her head at the beginning of the pandemic and would have grown back mostly by now. We would have been in better position. But it was awful. I spent hours myself picking out one little hair at a time. And my wife spent $55 on some sort of horsehair thing for horses. It was a horse product. We still have some if you need it. And that's what we used. And then we just started cutting clumps out. And my daughter was, going back to school, and she started cutting clumps out. She wanted to be able to sleep and put her head on a pillow without hurting. It was horrible. Completely feral. Countless hours. I haven't been to a store in ages, and I miss it. But when I do go, I do wear the mask, and I'm not. It was weird. It was weird wearing a mask. I thought when we first saw people in China wearing masks and other Asian countries like South Korea, I thought, well, that's not going to happen here. That's never going to happen here. We're never going to wear masks. And yet here we are. Most of us, not all of us, thank you, Mr. Trump, not all of us are wearing masks, but some of us are. And now I don't mind it because it's weird and a little uncomfortable, but I like walking into a public place and not being able to be recognized, not only by just general population, but people I know. I don't even want to be recognized by anybody. I've become a bit feral myself, and I don't want to be seen. I want to. The mask doesn't cover enough. I wanted to cover more. I wanted to cover everything. I want to make sure that people don't recognize my eyes. You know, I can't wear sunglasses, but I'm thinking maybe some dark Elton John kind of glasses, just weird glasses to distract me. Maybe some eyeliner, maybe excessive eyeliner on me would throw people off, and I could just be anybody. What would it matter if they didn't recognize me? Huh? It wouldn't matter. I get strange looks as it is. Don't think I don't get strange looks as it is when I walk into a store. I do all the time. I'm a freak of nature. But what if I put eyeliner on and I could wear a muumuu? I could wear a muumuu, not care about what I wear. Because if nobody can recognize you, what would you care about what you wear? Huh? If you're not young and you're trying to attract somebody of the opposite sex or same sex or whatever you do, if sex is not involved, and believe me, at my age, it's not. What if you just didn't give a shit and you put on eyeliner and a muumuu and a mask and nobody could possibly recognize you, the strange looks I'm used to? If you see someone at Costco dressed in a muumuu with eyeliner who looks like he probably is a hairy man, that might be me. Not saying it is me. Other people might get this idea. People are listening to this after all, you know. In fact, if more people did it, the more I'd blend in. And I'd like that. I like blending in. I just feel like I stand out, physically stand out, you know. So I'm a bit unstable when it comes to Twitter, okay? Here's what I do. I sometimes go back and I delete my tweets. I know this is a wussy thing to do, but the next day I wake up and I read my tweet and I think, oh my God, why did I say that? That's not interesting. It's not funny. It's not anything. What was I thinking? It makes no sense. In this new era, this new time of the next morning makes no sense. So I have tweet regret all the time. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reread my tweets. Not all of them. I'm not going to read the environmental things or the things that are related to my other podcast, the Clean Energy Show, Clean Energy Pod on Twitter. My Twitter account, my personal Twitter account, is Jew Hitting Ham. Now, it's not really Jew Hitting Ham, and I know you can't say Jew, and I just did. But I can't say Jewish because it makes no sense. J.E. Whittingham, it was the only one that was left, okay, for a Twitter handle in 2013, J.E. Whittingham. So, Jew Hitting Ham. And, there are times that I've wanted to be Jewish. This is maybe one of the times because I would look less stupid saying Jew. Sorry, I said it again. How many times have I said that? Jew is a nasty word in most contexts. Not in this context. Yes, it is. Because why would a Jew hit ham? Is it saying something about... I don't know everything about the Jewish tradition. I know they eat ham. Some people don't. Some religions don't do the pork. Is it kosher to eat ham? What does kosher mean? I don't even know what kosher... See, I'm not a good person to say the word J-E-W. That's my initials, J-E-W. I used to write that on things. I used to... My oldest brother was an artist. He used to sign his initials, but his name was John Whittingham. I couldn't sign my name J-W because that would be like the other artist named J-W when I was making, school work or little paintings at home. So I would sign it J-E-W, Jew. But it was really James Edward Whittingham. But it probably has a lot to do with why my Jewish friends didn't really like me in my childhood. Now that I think back. Anyway, we're talking about tweets here. I'm going through my Twitter account. Okay, here's my first tweet. I picked the wrong year to not start a cult. I stand behind that tweet. That tweet still sounds good to me. Why? Because it seems that everyone is batshit crazy. The people who aren't going to church are still needing to fill that mythical void. I've got nothing against religious people. I've got nothing against people of faith. I honestly don't. But there's too many people. I mean, possibly half the population of the U.S. is ripe for joining a cult. I mean, in a sense, they already have. So I stand by that tweet. A good year to start a cult. Besides the pandemic, you could have had a little commune somewhere, not worn masks, did your own thing, had 6 wives. Why 14 wives? What's the good amount of wives that a cult leader could have before it gets in the way? I don't know. I think 14 is a good spread. Maybe one for each child, something like that. And as long as there's a regular turnover, that's what a cult leader needs. Because you want all the women in the cult to say, ooh, I'd like to get with the cult leader. I wish he'd have an opening, That's how cults work. That's mostly sexual. Well, it's true, and it's tragic. It's tragic. Save the children. Save the children. All right, I put a video out where I demanded that fat people get the coronavirus first. Not the coronavirus, the vaccine first. I stand by that one, okay? So we're 2 for 2. I'm surprised I haven't deleted any tweets yet. Yeah, I stand by that. I want, okay, first, the nurses get it. Not the doctors, the nurses, because the nurses don't get paid as much and they're with the patients more. The nurses should get the vaccine first. And then maybe the doctors, because we need the doctors. We need the doctors there. They keep golf courses alive and they, write prescriptions, whatever doctors do. And then the janitors, because the janitors get paid nothing and they're miserable because they're cleaning up vomit and poop all the time. And then the people who serve hospital food, they don't need the vaccine. And maybe the people who serve it are okay, but not the people who cook it. First responders, okay. Ambulance EMTs, ambulance EMTs. I once called a EMT an ambulance driver and I got the dirtiest look. The dirtiest look. Man, she wanted to kill me and then fix me. Yeah, police officers, firefighters, things like that. Teachers are in there too, because they have to go to school in that petri dish of a classroom. They're just, their days are numbered. All teachers' days are numbered. They should get the vaccine. And then fat people like me should get the vaccine, okay? I deserve the vaccine. I'm at risk. I probably won't make it to the next podcast. In fact, a lot of my listeners probably thought I died of COVID. Or masturbation. But I'm here. And as long as I'm here, I'll keep putting out some episodes. We'll see how it goes, okay? Just bear with me. I'm not dead. If I'm dead, I will announce it on Twitter. I will live tweet my death on Twitter. Anyway, I'm James Whittingham. This has been another edition of Sneeze. I think I'm going to go through some more tweets next time. It's been fun. It's been good to talk to you again. Get back to me. You know where to find me. I'm on Twitter, man. I'm on Twitter, Sneeze Show. I think I'm even on Facebook. I don't know why. I got to take that down. I'm on SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/Sneeze Show. I think I'm on Instagram even. All these accounts I have to whip up and get going again. But you can find me, sneezeshow@gmail.com. You can email me. I'm always looking for listener feedback, listener suggestions, listener comments, things that I can use on the show. If you want to become my sidekick, you want to audition, you want to send some things in, it can be text, can be video, can be audio, send it in. Do what Mark did. Mark Blevis. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. See you next time.
Connect with James on social media by searching Sneeze Show. Thanks for listening.
That is rather funny.